wherever you are on this beautiful planet, I hope you are fantastic today. It's finally September. It's going to be a good month in comparison to August, I believe. August was meant to kind of test us. I'm sure you've been tested yourself. I know I have. So August was just to shake things up, and then September is to kind of put it all back together, right? Hopefully, let's see how it goes. I know 2025 is going to be a year of rapid growth. So I think there's been a lot of purging in 2024 to kind of make the foundation of the rapid growth solid and worthwhile. So let's talk about the markets. All right. So as always, the best thing to do is follow a structure, follow a methodology. And mine is the MTOP structure, which I've developed over the many years that I've been in this game. And getting on to where price action is over right here. I'm just going to have a look at market structure, start off with M, and see that we're on to potentially turning point 8. So we're looking for the 8th turning point to follow, which is, in other words, the 4th low of the cycle. And it's been quite a low liquidity weekend, as it typically is. I'll get into support and resistance in a second. From a time forecast perspective, it does seem in line with market structure as well, that it's trying to get itself into the 4th and final quadrant of the cycle. And it's obviously done so in a very meander-like manner. All right, so we could see something out here. Let's see what else the MTOP strategy has to tell us. From an oscillator perspective, just because of the weekend, it's not a lot to go by. It's been kind of a switching, a light switch there, switch there, switch there, and switch there. So not really reliable in terms of giving us a great amount of information. For example, back here, it was a lot more helpful. Price forecast. All right, so in terms of our levels, it seems as if prices kind of got to that level over there. It definitely broke this low. So we are in a downtrend. We got a lower high and a lower low. We're not sure if this is finished yet, but it has broken that low. So it is lower. And it seems to be hanging out at this level for the time being. So I don't think it's quite done. If it's going to go down another level, then I would suggest it'll probably reach somewhere over here. I don't necessarily think it's going to just stop where it is. I think it's trying to get across and anchor into a new position. So I'm watching that interaction and I suppose that interaction. All right, so down into support and resistance. Okay, as we can tell, from a time perspective, the target zone has now been exceeded. Okay, so unfortunately, the initial storytelling of the kill zone nominating this line didn't continue. All right, so that's something to note whilst looking at support and resistance. It then kind of just crashed through that line over there. So not a lot of commitment to this support line, which means this kill zone is out of place. And what we do now, of course, is shift it across as required. So I'm going to just make it a bit broader, give us a little bit of space for this market to make its decisions within. Bearing in mind that this is 9 a.m. My time, which is basically in the Europe and English time zone, and therefore the American markets are still fast asleep. And generally, to be quite honest, I've lived in many places on the planet. I've been across to the Far East, and I've been obviously within the European time zone. And I can tell you that the American time zone, the Americas, are where most of liquidity happens. I'm not sure if it's just Wall Street or BlackRock or who it is behind the scenes that really puts the capital into the markets. But I mean, just given the population of America, just North America alone, there is so much buy power there from many people who've got the resources to be active on the markets and have a significant contribution towards it. So that's from real life experience. I know, again, I mean, everything's kind of documented in hypotheticals and books, but I've been in all the major time zones. Australia's time zone is generally quite lower liquidity. All right, so that's like when Hawaii is going to bed, sort of thing, and Australia is at the desks. Again, the Africa or European time zones, it's not absolutely dead. Things can happen, but it's generally when the Americas are at their trade desks that we see the market activity. So why that's relevant to us is because that falls in line with the progression of where price action might react to next. Generally, in the inner arcs, we're going to see less active price, and then towards the latter parts of the move, like it's kind of consolidated. I'm just going back to another example, consolidated up here, and then it starts to warm up towards the end of the Gantt. So over here, it's been very quiet, just getting itself into position, and then now into the last segment of the Gantt. So I don't necessarily see any major shakes for, I'd say, the next 6 hours of this video, since this video is being put out. And then I think the end of day will give us a clearer read of what the market is trying to get to, and what it wants. So just to surmise, what we know right now, given the MTOP's findings, is that we are now entering the fourth quadrant, which means that we are getting towards the latter end of the cycle. We've got a turning point 8 trying to form, turning point 9 potentially forming a lower high, and then moving on to turning point 10 to follow. And it's going to happen in a short amount of space. So potentially expect some relatively fast transitions between the highs and the lows to come. It's all relative, of course. This is over the week of September, the first week, that is. Maybe the first 2 weeks, we'll have to see. And then the downtrend over here is in continuation. So we got the lower high, we got price below that low. So we're in the downtrend on this, and we're waiting to see what the next anchor point is going to give us. Is it going to form and then shoot up? Is it going to kind of get messy? I'm just hypothetically speaking about this point for the time being, and then maybe meander in a flat-like manner to anchor itself in for a further down. I'd say over the next day or two, we're going to get more clarity on what happens next. For the time being, we just got to sit tight, allow the market to crawl, and then I might get into a short position on the lower time frame just to catch perhaps a bit of a quicker move down potentially, and then wait for the kill zone to form, which is basically the formation of the next turning point, and then we can take it from there. Before I jump off, I'm quite surprised by this, which is rather encouraging to see, rather, should I say. And oh man, I'm seeing TradingView getting a lot more active. I think with their community and the guys who are putting posts out there. I've got another boost over here from TradingView themselves. I'm not entirely sure how to interpret that. Guys, if you're watching, which I think you are, otherwise I wouldn't have got the editor's pick. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for backing the guys who are putting themselves out there and creating this content. It's it's a lot of time, effort, and energy, and it's not super easy to be able to forecast the future of price action before it happens, with the solid reasoning behind why the forecasts are relative, as well as keeping in tune with the market as it develops. So thank you for, let's be humble. Thank you for acknowledging and recognizing talent. This is really wonderful. And then, of course, I think said so on Friday, the interaction is well appreciated, guys. Thank you for the warmth. It's obviously a very isolating journey when you're a trader. It's necessarily surrounded by tons of people who are in the same office as you. And as I've made mention to many times before, the partners don't want to hear about the markets anymore. Your partners grow tired of hearing about price action and trend and all that kind of thing. So thanks, guys. Thanks to everyone in the community. It's awesome. Almost at 100 boosts over here, over 50 follows. Beautiful stuff to see. So I appreciate it, man. Thanks. All right, guys, I'll see you at the end of day report. Ciao for now.